up, y'all? Welcome back to We Gotta Speak on It. I am your boy Quay, as you know. I know I've been away for a little while, y'all, but we back at it. We back at it again, and I'm doing a little something different this time. I know y'all not used to me doing one-on-ones too much if you've been following the channel, but I'm moving into something new. Got my homeboy Travis right here, and we gonna chop it up about what it means to actually be a Moor, to live the life from the Moorish science. Am I saying it right, brother?
Yeah, you can say you can say Moorish science. That's cool. You know?
Absolutely, yeah, man.
Let's just keep it where people understand it. The bill of particulars. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that at a later time. For right now, it's good. Generalizing it, yeah, Moorish science.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Introduce yourself, brother. What's your name? Where you from? I mean, how long you been a Moor?
All right, y'all doing? My name is Brother Travis Ibn. My 33rd 360-degree Moorish Master Mason, Master Astrologer. I ain't Master Mason, that works, but Astrologer, I kind of like to go with that one because it's user friendly. You know what I'm saying? I try
Absolutely.
to keep everything we keep it on ice. I've been studying these sciences for 10 years now. I follow Dr. C and Big Charles Morley Bay's works out of Cleveland, Ohio. You know, being down south, we haven't really heard of none of this stuff until like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Right, right. You know what, too? And that's the thing about, I was thinking about that because when I first heard of the Moors, I was watching like Sonetta TV and stuff like that. I'm looking at the debates, the Moors versus the Hebrew Israelites, or the Christians versus the atheists and all kind of stuff. And I learned so much through that channel. And I remember a lot of the brothers, the Moors, their last name always was like Bay or L, like your name L, you know what I mean? Your last name. And why do they change their name?
Well, uh, for them, I know that this our Moorish no titles of nobility, Bays, L's, Days, Alls, and that all depends on what side of Africa you are on. The L is masculine and the Bay is feminine, right? So the thing is, for us, what we do is we go with our Holy Trinity. That's our Sun, Moon, and Mercury sign. So if you have all masculine signs, then that deems you as an L. If you have all feminine signs, that deems you as a Bay. If you have if out of the three, let's say you got two masculine, one feminine, and the two feminine, or you know what I'm saying, it rules, so that makes you a Bay. If you got one feminine and you got two masculine signs, that's gonna bring you to being a L. See what I'm saying? So everything is based on positive and negative.
See. Now it make a little sense.
Not putting it as in man and woman, but just as like when you're dealing with energy. You know what I'm saying? The proton and the neutron. See what I'm saying? Positive and negative. 'Cause put them together, that's energy.
Yeah. I never realized that's what the whole L and B, that's dope. Yeah, that's definitely good information. But like you start off by saying you was a 33 third and you was naming a bunch of stuff. Like how do you
Third,
get the
third,
levels? Yeah.
and the degree. All right, because once again, esoterically, you know what I'm saying? We're looking at it from a scientific aspect. We ain't talking about we ain't gonna do it from theocratical masonry. We're gonna look at it from a science aspect. I'm a third degree Mason because I understand my Sun, Moon, Mercury. 3. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How many vertebrae you got in your back? 33. So now you understand. Now you understand how you moving. So when you're talking about the vertebrae, we're talking about the 7 chakras now. So now by you following your astrology, you understand who you are. You understand your genetic makeup as is according to an esoteric standpoint. That's how you master your 33rd degree. You know what I'm saying? In 360, that's you understanding and encompassing all the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? A full circle, 360 degrees. Hence to why Moors, our feds, our tassels is not pinned down. They spin 360. You know?
Word. Okay, that's deep, man. Boy, you dropping a lot already, man. This thing starting off hot, bro. For real, for real. I want to say, but like basically, just to get down to the basic of it. What is a Moor? Can you give me like a little history of the Moors, And what is a Moor for the most part?
Okay, so basically a Moor is just it's a term that was bestowed upon us as to say like who we are. That's a nationality. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a big thing. We don't have nationality as a people, and they stripped that away from us, right? In 1772, when they chopped down the cherry tree. Whole nother story. Let's say if on a religious, if you want to look at it from a religion standpoint, a religious aspect, you know what I'm saying? We are Muslims. You know what I'm saying? That's like you have Christians, you have Hebrews. We are Muslims. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, Moors in the Bible, we are the Moabites. You know, and how we understand that that is us, and that's how we connect ourselves through that book of genealogy. Because the Bible, we look at it as a science book. We don't base it based on theology. We look at it as science. The references in science. Um, uh, Moabites, you know what I'm saying? Because from the corruption of the Moabite nations came the Moorish nation, and from out the corruption of the Moorish nation come the Franciscan nation. You know, so Moors used to rule the seven seas long before um, before the Christians and Europeans decided to do their thing when they dropped the doctrine of discovery. That's gonna be 1492. Yeah, 1692. One of them, I gotta really go back and look into that. That's so that's like some old studies.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, the time really just if you want to look it up, it's called the doctrine of discovery. That's basically like when really the names of calling us Moors actually kind of kicked in.
hmm Yeah, but like traditional wise, culture wise, what kind of stuff? I know you got the fairs. I see y'all be rocking the fairs and stuff like that. Is there anything other traditions or cultures that the Moors do particularly?
Well, under Dr. Sin Bay's studies, we basically everything is according to the zodiac. We do everything based on the zodiac. So as you would celebrate Easter, for us, Easter is the first full moon after the springtime. So for us, um, what you would deem as March the 21st, the first day of spring, which would be the first degree of Aries, that's our New Year's. So for us, that's New Year's for us. You see what I'm saying?
Based off
Uh,
astrology, right?
Everything is astrology. Harvest moon, that people will look at that. That's Halloween's, Hallows Eve. You know, it's we celebrate different moon phases and different points on different seasons. We do everything according to cycles and seasons. We don't do things according to days. You know what I'm saying? Because the days for us, those are just degrees.
That's interesting, man. Like I say, Moors, man. It seems like you don't have a whole lot of them around, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think a lot of the stuff things that Moors do. A lot of people still don't even know what a Moor is. I before we had the conversation, I had a conversation with my mother and my sister, and they didn't even know what a Moor is. I say, okay, well, y'all gonna need to watch this interview because I got a friend of mine, and by the way, for those who don't know, me and Travis went to school together.
Yeah.
We both out of New Orleans. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we had to make this conversation take place because, the brother been living a lifestyle, and I think a lot of people curious, want to understand, want to know, and so we gonna kind of debunk a lot of the things that people might think, or they simply just don't know. But you know, right off the rip, bro, do y'all believe in like God and Jesus and stuff like that? Jesus?
Okay, that's a good question. And the thing is, how we look at it is though what we do is we have a different perception of it. We just take it. We look at it from, as they would say, that God is within everybody. So with us, we look at it as though that we just do everything from within. You know what I'm saying, hence the term Islam. As Moors, the term Islam is an acronym. It's not even a word. It's just an acronym. It stands for I, self, law, and master. I study life around me. You know, because what we do is everything about Moors. For Moors, everything is we come into this world only understanding that we square to everything. The 9 months conception of birth, you know what I'm saying? 90 degrees, that's a square, you know. So everything is about character building for us. That's why you master your astrology, you know what I'm saying? Just like the 12 working tools in masonry, the 12 signs of the zodiac, you master all 12 of your signs, you know what I'm saying? Your squares, your oppositions, but all your aspects. You know what I'm saying? And this is how you grow within yourself. That's gonna be that rough ashlar that you turn to a perfect cube. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's our philosophy. You know what I'm saying? On how we uh put ourselves in uprightness. You know what I'm saying? When we do it, it's scientific. It's more scientific, than it is with say how they have any other way of how they do things out here, which I really don't even know because I never took an oath on the Bible. I never was a Freemason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything we stonemasons.
Do
So,
y'all do y'all believe in the
by
Bible? I heard
birth,
you say earlier it was a book of science. Does that mean like you believe in some stuff in it, or do you believe in all of like do y'all believe in the Bible at
yeah.
all?
Well, I do read the Bible, and the thing is, for us, the Bible is a book of allegories. So a lot of things in there we don't take it as how it was preached. We look at it from a whole different angle. How we look at everything um, from an esoteric standpoint. For instance, the term that we all know of, God cast Lucifer out of heaven, right? So esoterically for us, heaven is the mind because the mind is perfect, just like how we always perceive heaven to be perfect, right? God always been a verb, and since how we know of how that they changed everything around, God stands for governmental ordinance department, legislative, judicial, and executive branches of the government. So God, in that sense, we look at it as though that's the government. And Lucifer, you know what I'm saying? Lucifer is actually two words, you know what I'm saying? The Latin words. As Moors, our original language is Latin. Latin is the dead language of the Moors. And Lucifer, Lucy stands for light, and then fur is like the bearer, referee. You know what I'm saying? It's the bearer. So it means light bearer. So the term, how we see the term, is God cast Lucifer out of heaven. So for us, we saying that Lucifer, sorry, the government cast the light and the knowledge out of our minds as to this is where we at sitting at today, as we say, dumbed down. And then they gave us this religion, you know what I'm saying, during the Civil War,
Yeah.
you know,
So
that's the
Lucifer is Lucifer a bad thing though to you? Is Lucifer a bad
no,
thing?
no, because see, we don't use it's once again, you know what I'm saying? It's those are titles, and the titles just deemed to be different for us. And Lucifer, we don't look at it in the way that they demonized it. You know what I'm saying? Lucifer, it means the light bearer. I mean, you study the knowledge, but I mean, Lucifer is not even a term that we use. You know what I mean? That's not something that we use. So we don't run around saying, "Oh, Lucifer is good," and this. Nah, we keep everything. We keep everything according to the four elements, the 12 signs of the zodiac, math, geometry. That's our thing. We study astrology, numerology, and geometry. That is basically that's how we regulate our life, which what religion means, how one regulates their life.
So the biggest difference I could say is that the God belief, the Jesus belief, and the Lucifer belief, it's a whole different mindset as far as how y'all see it. Like
Yes.
you don't see God as somebody outside of the earth that's overlooking everything, and you don't see Jesus as somebody that died for our sins, a person that walked the earth. You don't see the devil or Satan. Is it just Lucifer, or is the devil in Satan that you feel like is no, you don't believe in?
Well, see, the thing is, how we look at it in the Moorish sciences, the devil is man-made self. It's like so. It's basically is what you're doing is you have two sides to yourself. You got a higher self. You know what I'm saying? You got your higher self, and then you got your lower self. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on is like all the negative stuff in your mind that people do, everything that's negative that they do, we say that's the devil in you, and that's what you have. That's why you have to circumscribe yourself. You know what I'm saying? Circumscribe your passions and your desires. You know what I'm saying? Using the compass. You know what I'm saying? And you level yourself out with the square. Everything for us, how we look at it, bro, everything we deal with accountability, and everything is self. You take responsibility for our own actions. That's why I say, you know what I'm saying, we study it. That's why we study this astrology. Because if you understand the astrology, you start learning the astrology, you kind of see how, you know what I'm saying, you understand how it affects you. You understand with all the characteristics that's in astrology. You see how you are a part of that when certain when planets and stuff align a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? When you be feeling like some days you wake up and you be like, oh, I don't feel too good. Well, what's going on is there is a planetary there's something that's planetary that's going on that have you feeling that way. But if you understood the astrology, now you would also know how to combat it, because there's always formulas in astrology on how we deal with certain things. So, like if you have something that's squared, you know what I'm saying? Now, what you'll do is you have to go to the opposition of that, of those signs, and certain traits in those signs. Those are the things that you have to do moving forward during this cycle, the season, and that is how you kind of make that stuff better. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Making sense to it. And I'm like I said, I'm really trying to keep away. So I'm keeping it kind of basic so everybody kind of
Absolutely.
understand. I don't want to really get into the lingo, because that's going to kind of like really take it
Right.
out of the way. You know how I can get with that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You can for sure. I definitely appreciate you keeping the surface level. But
Yeah.
like, can anybody be a Moor, or is that something that's like you gotta be like from a certain bloodline or lineage or something, or what?
Nah, because if you're even looking at it from the bloodline, I mean, we all came from the same. We all came from the Moabite woman. We all came from Ruth, the Moabite. And we all came from that. So that means everybody's been endowed with that energy. It's just some are more into their lower selves than they are into their higher selves. You know what I'm saying? That comes down to hit that moral compass, basically. You know what I'm saying? When your moral compass is off, yeah, you need a lot more. It's more studying that you would have to do, and getting yourself back into uprightness. You know, some people is not to do the right thing is natural. You know what I'm saying? Some people doing the wrong thing is natural to them, or they feel that it's natural. But you can tell, you have an innate feeling to tell you what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? Everybody do. Because even people that do wrong, when you mention it, you know what I'm saying? They had a little snicker, said something slick. They know. Everybody knows themselves to a certain degree. It's
Well,
just whether you want to be better
yeah,
or not. Up to the individual.
I
You know
feel
what I'm
you. But I guess I'm trying to. So a white person can be a Moor, Chinese
saying?
person can be a
Yeah, right.
Moor.
Yeah, anybody could be a more, because it's all about how you think. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to the first hermetic principle, mentalism, how you think. Just like anybody could believe, or they want to say that I mean, put it this way: a European can be a Buddhist. They can deal with the Sikh religion. They can be Baptist. They can be Catholic, and all of those are just different. um they all come from the same place. They all religions came from astrology, right? So it's just they're just all different philosophies, and people just choose whatever philosophy they choose to get into. So it has nothing to do with the color of the skin. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, how people think don't have really nothing to do with their skin. I mean, if you close your eyes and everybody just talk, I mean, pretty much you going off of how people think at this point. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
So
it's not
so
nothing to do with the skin color thing. Man, this whole skin color thing, that has been something that has been a distraction for everybody since the beginning of time. Because in the beginning, um, uh, it was the woman. She was a hermaphrodite. So when she got tired of seeing herself, she manifests another image as to where now, boom, here go a male. So till it got to the point where when it was just us on the world, where it was all just melanated people, till once again, they got tired of that and they decided to create something different. So here we created what they would call the Edomites or the Europeans. You know what I'm saying? The blind hair, blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Evolution. It just happened that way. And now what happened is these things, they become a mirror. They're a reflection.
I guess I'm thinking more like from a historical context, and I know we're not trying to go too deep into it, but I know, the Moors. I know when they was in Europe, they did some things. You know what I mean? They kind of like the Europeans were dying from bubonic plague and stuff, and the Moors particularly were known to be black skinned people that helped them, showed them how to clean themselves. They cleaned up. They ran Europe for a little while in the dark ages of Europe. So they were described as a particular type of people. So when we generalize it, it sounds more like a religion or like some type of a belief system versus an actual physical look of a person. And I'm just trying to be clear that you're saying anybody could be a more.
And the thing is, because of, especially nowadays, because the thing is, even back then when we did all of the creations and stuff, and everything was different, like back the in the dark ages, it was a little different. But now from that time to this time, with all the amalgamation, you know what I'm saying? We was having sex with them. This is how we end up creating the Asians. So that would be for how we learned that that's kind. You know what I'm saying? Or the Tartarian nation. You know what I'm saying? That's how they come about from. We was always mixing.
I see. So another thing that the Moors always seem to be, and I know you can let me know you're Moor, obviously. So sovereignty, this thing seems to be like, I know in a lot of the debates and stuff, and even people I know personally, I know a couple of homeboys, man, that talk about Q, man, you should go ahead on and get your sovereignty, man, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and I would always hear America is a corporation, and you know what I mean, and your birth certificate is a contract, these different terms. And it's like you gotta get rid of all this stuff, you gotta do this, that, and the third to be free. And how important is sovereignty? Is it important? I mean, just explain sovereignty just in general for me real quick if you can.
All right, now for us, bro, sovereign. First of all, a lot of these people they use these words and don't even understand what they mean. Sovereignty, number one, sovereignty is a verb, it's an action. So it's what you do. You know what I'm saying? That would make you sovereign. And first of all, you would have to basically be able to produce. Sovereignty, you're self-sustaining, right?
Why do Moors want to be sovereign? I'm sorry, I just want to change it up a little bit. Why
Yeah,
do
I
Moors
got.
typically go? Yeah.
It's they want sovereignty because this is a term that they've heard and they looking at it as though okay, cool. They find some sort of power in it. You know what I'm saying? When the thing is, it to me is and how we study it is really it's an action. And the thing is, at this stage of the game, we can't be sovereign. We can't be sovereign. You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't reached that point yet. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we first thing we need to do is we have to come back into our own. We have to understand that we copper tone skin people that's from North America instead of calling ourselves black, Negro, or colored. You know what I'm saying? So we have to change a lot of things before we can even get into sovereignty. First, let's become a nation state. That way, now we can become a sovereign state. You see what I'm saying? So it's like basically a lot of people out here, you putting the cart before the horse, and that fuels a whole nother problem within itself.
So for the Moors out here that are sovereign, that live their life off the grid, if you will, to some degree, you think there's a way? Is there a way to do it and do it right, or are you saying it can't be done at all?
Definitely there's a way to do it right. Because here go the deal. The thing is, as Moors, here, to me, all the Moors that want to stay off the grid, what you're doing is you kind of ducking responsibility. Because technically, as a Moor, we are the federal government. You know what I'm saying? Because when we ran the federal government, it was called the Congress Assemble. You know what I'm saying? They don't have Congress, they just call themselves Congress. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things. Once again, bro, it's a lot of things as more as we have to understand. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to bring everything back to so where we can all take responsibility for our portion so that we can get this thing right. So we can get back to being that sovereign nation.
Right, absolutely. So even when it comes to like stuff like your license, ID, your license. Do you have a license by any chance? You got a license?
No, I don't have a driver's license. I don't. I don't. No, I don't. When it comes down to the IDs, the driver's license, and these contracts that everybody want to put out there, well, the thing is, these contracts, if we understand that we can change these contracts, you know what I'm saying, is how we contract. For instance, I have the state issued ID. Well, on my state issued ID, for as race, I'm classified as white, and white meaning that I am of the land.
You
Uh,
classified as white?
yes, classified as white. So is the and in law, white means that you are ruler of the land. Simple. That's all it means. That's all it means. It has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
color of your skin. Um,
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
I'm also on there as a non. I'm not a U.S. citizen, right? And so when they have for the race portion, when they say you're gonna be black, white, island, Pacific Islander, those things. They have the other. So I have more, and I have the CDC code for more.
Mm-hmm.
So now when they see my ID, it says basically my ID just identifies me as not being in their jurisdiction. You
So
know,
you identify as white on everything?
well, anything that they ask me if they put on race, that's what I put on there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will put on that white because I understand what it means.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I am of the land.
Yeah. 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 So you identified in general just as white, period, or
No,
just some application.
I identify as a Moor or Muslim.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
So
but
you're
the thing
saying
is,
just on
they want
paperwork.
when it comes to their political sorcery, when they want to talk and put it on documents,
Hmm.
they don't have most times they don't have a spot on there where it says a Moor. So if they don't have a spot for Moor, then we gonna go with white.
Okay. It's interesting. Hey man, hey, listen, we trying to get this knowledge, man. I'm trying to understand how y'all moving out here as Moors. I mean, I don't know. You say you don't have a license. I mean, do you drive?
Yeah, I got my own truck, everything. You know what I'm saying? And my truck, I even got the license plate. You know what I'm saying? And my license plate, clearly, when they run my license plate, it clearly states that he's white, he's not a U.S. citizen, he's a Moor. And they see L on there. All my rights are reserved under the L. See, that's another one thing. You know what I'm saying? For us, we don't use UCC. You know what I'm saying? We don't do none of that
What is
stuff.
UCC?
The UCC, that's that commercial codes, United Commercial Codes. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Commercial code, USC. That's basically those are the corporate rules that they have. That's how they set forth all of the statute codes and ordinances. The UCC, Moors don't run around here and say, "Oh yeah, you got to do the UCC filing and put that what that shit is the 308-1 and all that stuff."
Yeah.
When number one, as a Moor, the only Moors that can actually use UCC is Moorish Science Temple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're protected under the Prophets 1099. Because that was how he protected Moors when it all started in 1922. This is how he was protecting Moors in the state using the UCC. So it was protected under that,
Yeah.
right? So now with Dr. Sin Bay, you know what I'm saying? This is how we understand that we operate on a federal realm. And so therefore we can't use UCC. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
So the thing is, we use what's known as civil law notary.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that means now for with us, most things that we do, all we got to do is just basically write it on some paper, and then we go and put it in as a petition. And the only thing that the court's got to do is give us the decree on it.
So
You
let
see?
me get this right. You driving in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Cops get behind you. Root, root.
Okay.
Cop get behind you. Now you're looking at your plate. Your plate says a white man, and he gets out the car. He asks you for license, registration, insurance. You say, "I don't have a license." Like how do you handle that if you get pulled over by the cops?
Well, see, here's the deal. Us, how we operate differently. I would think that we don't really deal in their language. Most times people say driver's license, registration, and insurance. Most of these boys out here, the first thing come out their mouth, oh, I don't have no driver's license. Why are you discussing? Why are you discussing? You discuss it. You talk in their language. You know what I'm saying? For us, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, my driver's license, registration, insurance. According to my astrology, it's a good time for long and short journeys. You know what I'm saying? Now, what they'll do is, now what we do is we will have insurance because that's just being responsible. If I hit somebody call, well, hey, you're not, I got to be able, I'm taking responsibility. I got to be able to cover my damages. I cause harm at that rate, right? You know what I'm saying? In fact, according to law, that's the violation in Article 4. You know what I'm saying? I've just caused a problem in Article 4 where I just, you know what I'm saying? My state and the European state, we just have a clash with something. You know what I'm saying? We got a harm cause. How do, you know what I'm saying? What's my remedy for that? Insurance.
I'm wondering how you get a license plate and insurance with no license. How you do that?
Hey, it's easy, bro, because here go the deal. Because of my status, and I don't have a driver's license. Here's the deal. And the thing is, for the purpose of a lot of this stuff, you got to remember, as being a U.S. citizen, commercially, you are a liability. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not a liability. So my insurance, even with no having no driver's license, $50 a month, $52, full coverage.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So it's a lot of things, and here's the deal, bro. It's a lot of things out here that you will find out once you travel this road and find out that why y'all don't tell nobody this. And the thing is, the game is for them not to tell because remember, their whole thing is they trying to generate bread. They trying to make money. You
But I
know,
get it. But I'm thinking like, how if a cop stop you and you ain't got no license, he let you finish driving with no license? Because a license, like the reason why they want you to have a license is because they want you to prove that you can operate this vehicle, that you passed the test. This is what proves that you can follow the laws. You don't go out there and kill nobody. If you don't show them a license, you go out there and run into something. I'm trying to see how can you get around that if a cop stop you, and it's like what they say, like when you.
see, once again, like Frederick Douglass said, knowledge made any man unfit to be a slave. So the thing is, let's look at these rules. The
What they
rules
say.
is who has to have a license. The rule is you have to be a United States citizen or a resident, right? I'm neither one of those. So answer this here. When we was ruling the land, what license we had? The only thing we had was a commercial driver's license. And that's in the treaty.
When you say who have to have a license, you said United States citizen or what else?
State citizen and the residents.
In the
That's
residence, but to operate a vehicle is the other part that was supposed to be attached to that. You didn't mention that part.
but it, right.
Like that's what a license is, huh?
But have a license to
Yeah.
operate a vehicle, you know what I'm saying? You have to, if you're a United States citizen or resident, you have to have a license to operate a vehicle. What rules say if you're not a United States citizen, what you have to have? What is that?
Hey,
See?
I don't think they have none because I don't think they probably well you know more about this part than me obviously but I doubt if they have one because they would assume that everybody in the country is a citizen like you said to some degree
And
but
that's
hey
assumed.
man
That's assumed.
yeah
The thing is, then the law clearly lets them know they're not supposed to go off of an assumption.
yeah
So that's why I have the ID. Because my ID says what it is. You know what I'm saying? Put it like this here. Even under my old name, I don't have it's not suspended. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying even under my old name, my license will be good. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? But the thing is, I'm not contracting in that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not contracting like that. So therefore, we can't bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they did try to bring it up, it still puts me good. And on top of that, too, they just put themselves in trouble because now what you just did was not that's called name appropriation. That's identity theft.
yeah yeah
They can't commit a crime to find a crime. And the
yeah
thing is, still, here go the deal. And according to the law, they not supposed to. They not supposed to do warrantless searches and seizures. But under the state, because you under state law, you're not under federal law. Under state law, they all your rights were usurped and you were given privileges and immunity. So under these privileges and immunity, in order for you to have the right to travel, they took away your right to travel and gave you driving privileges. That's what it says. If you look at your stuff, at your information, they tell you what they tell you when your license suspended. They say you lose your driving privileges.
But it sounds like that's two different. Okay, like let me just push back a little bit. You say the right to travel, it took away. Now, travel is more than just by vehicle, right? So
Yeah, the
when
right,
you
the
say
right.
privilege, because driving privileges entails that you're talking about, now you're talking about operating a vehicle.
Yeah, let me see.
Is walking, bicycle, skateboard, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So those things have distinctions, right?
Hmm. Okay. So, all right, now how you can combat that? Look at this here. There's a case law. I can't remember the case law. If you go in, you can simply just Google um the case law for the right to travel, and it's there. It's right there, and they tell them this. And this case law is what people use to actually get away from the driver's license tickets and all type of traffic tickets. But the thing is, that case law still, you have to have yourself in a certain position. You have to have yourself in a certain status in order to use that, because what you're doing is they're bringing up federal law. And the thing is, as a state citizen, you can't use federal law because that's what it says. That's what it has in for the 14th Amendment. You can't. You have a right to voluntary servitude. They can't put you in involuntary servitude. You know what I'm saying? You can't force me into your state laws when I'm protected by federal law. You can't force me under your statute, codes, and ordinance under the state when I'm protected by federal law. Because it clearly states also too in the Constitution, the state can't take your privilege. They can't take your rights and turn them into privileges. They can't do that. You know what I'm saying? The state law can't supersede federal law. However, if you're a state citizen, just then excluded yourself from the federal realm. Now you in the state realm. So that's how. See how kind of like it's kind of like what it is a bubble, and everybody have this one perception of it being in this bubble, not understanding outside the box.
Okay.
You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying?
Hey man, I appreciate that breakdown. Again, it's still a complicated one, but I'm gonna let you have because I know you don't lived it, you've been through it. But let me ask you this though, like having all the knowledge, bro, because you dropping a lot, you dropping a lot of stuff that I never, I didn't know some of it. I know a lot of people watching probably never even don't know how Moors live and what they do, stuff like that. Like having all that information when you first came into the knowledge and you find yourself trying to, talk to other people and share the knowledge. Like, are people receptive of that? Or are people like, you know what I mean? Like the family cool with you coming at them with the information? Or they just like, you crazy, Travis? Or what? What happened?
Crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like this here. My mother, my sister, in the beginning, they felt like that. But then while I was going through my process, because I mean, I've been, bro, I ain't start going to jail until I started doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I had to prove it at. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, I didn't have it on paper like I have it on paper now. So I don't go through these things now because now I've substantiated myself on paper. Because all of that is part of this game that they play. You know, is you're gonna go through one level of this, and since you haven't done it, now you really gotta know your shit. Because now they're gonna bring you to the next phase. Now, because now you gotta go and state your business in front of judge.
But you were saying that the family and friends wasn't really receptive of it.
Oh yeah, but family, yeah, they all thought I was crazy. As I started getting better at it and getting better at explaining it, then they see how it makes sense. However, they still really don't kind of grasp it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really grasp it too much. As I started getting better with things, it's like now I put it like this: instead of them saying, "Oh, you crazy," it's more or less like now, all right, cool. Well, where the money at? Where the wealth at? Where the wealth at? You know what I'm saying? Man, the thing is everything is an order operation. You know what I'm saying? I can't go and get back my ancient inheritance. You know what I'm saying? When I haven't even put the nation together yet. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want the wealth, but nobody want the responsibilities. Nobody want
Right.
the accountability. You know what I'm saying? The same way our ancestors left us this wealth. Guess what they also left us with? A whole bunch of problems that we got to figure out.
You said earlier, you said something about you didn't start going to jail until you got into the knowledge. So did you have cases that you try to implement certain things that failed? Are you saying and end up in prison?
Check it out. It never even got that far. I say, but I've never been no further than arraignment. I've never been to trial. I never been to trial because here the deal. You got to understand once again the rules of law. It's chess, not checkers. The thing is, when I'm going into my arraignments, you know what I'm saying, them first 3 court dates that you go to, you know what I'm saying, getting set to get the trial date. It always was me really much debunking them on status. Because once I put my status on the record and they recognize my status on the record, then they couldn't go nowhere because they couldn't try me on a state level stuff because I already had proven my status on the federal side. So they couldn't go with it.
I mean, like I said, you put it to the test. You really can see, because that's what I was going to ask you too. I know case law. A lot of Moors they talk about case law. They go and they represent themselves, and they use terms out the Black's Law dictionary and stuff. And you know, to me, it seemed like more cases fail than not. I mean, you could tell me from your experience, but it seemed like a lot of them go in there and they're talking these words to the judge, and a lot of them end up locked up. Why is that the case, or do you feel like that's the case from what you see on your end?
Well, for what I see when I look at these videos, what I notice is what they do is, first of all, you're not even rules of procedures. You know what I'm saying? There's civil rules and procedures. So it tells you, you know what I'm saying, when you go, you can go get these books from any courtroom, you know what I'm saying, on how their rules and procedures work, and one of the things is when you go in there, you know what I'm saying, they only going with the chattel name or the corporate name because that's the only one that they could bring across the table. Thing is, you can't sit there and say, "Oh no, I'm not it, and it's not me, and this, that, and the third." You can't do that. Your thing is, your first thing you got to do is you got to object to the name and put the record on. You got to put the correct appellation on the record first. So once they say you didn't change the name, now you can now go into your spill. However, what if your spill still all you talking about is UCC? See how you just debunked your situation again? You know what I'm saying? So for instance, um, they gonna say, yeah, today, hold on, wait a minute. Let me help myself out so I can be a little more precise with everything and everybody. They gonna tell me, well, you in here today on March the 3rd, um, 2026, right? So here, my thing is, I'm objecting to that because today's the 13th degree of Pisces in the year 1445.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So see, so from with me saying that right there, we just they really can't even go no further than that because the thing is that further we not on the same type of time.
So a lot of them are failing, you saying, because they're not objecting to the right things and they're accepting UCC terminologies, and that's
Right.
why they're losing.
They're protected. They're protected by these UCCs and stuff, even if they speak in English. You know what I'm saying? If they were protected under Prophet Noble Drew Ali's 1099, men Morris Science Temple. See what I'm saying? Because now this whole that's a whole different realm. So it don't apply to them. So no, we can't do that. And that's when they go into their little powwows and poof, everything just so happened and nobody knows what's going on and silently getting you out the back door.
You happen to be married by any chance? You married?
No, no, not married, never been married, and no children.
No children either.
No, we don't actually do marriages. We actually it's called a synastry. You know what I'm saying?
So
You go through and so like I said, if you want to put your marriage on a record or say for a marriage license, what we do is recreate a synastry trust. You know what I'm saying? And then we go and file it as a petition. They put it in a decree, and now we get all of the benefits of everything that a marriage license would get. So the Sinastry Trust, that's how we actually that is how we would say because basically we're saying that this is our partner in life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because a marriage, what is like really the definition of marriage? See what I'm saying?
Right. Right. So like getting a divorce in a synastry, is it the same thing as a divorce and marriage, like a regular marriage divorce, or what?
No, it's like any other trust. It's dissolved. You get it dissolved, and it
Okay.
costs you nothing. It costs nothing.
I need to get a damn. I mean, like if I could redo it again, I guess. Nah, I'm
But the
just
thing
kidding.
is, you can't. We all
I'm
can.
already married.
We
Yeah.
all can. I mean, no, I'm saying, well, I mean, I get it. I get
Mhm.
it. But the thing is, put it this way: if y'all was to switch over from the synastry, switch over to a synastry, and with nationality, now what happens is now your children no longer wards of the state. You're not under guise of the state. State is, you're no longer under that fiduciary contract to where the state is your custodian, because that's basically what it is. The state is your custodian.
Yeah. Is that a bad thing? The state your custodian? Why is that
Yeah.
a bad thing?
Well, here's the deal. The thing is, what's going on? What they're doing is they're keeping you in a capacity to where they want you to stay there for your rest of your life. Because then when you die, you know what I'm saying? All of that, as they would say, all that money that's on the Social Security account, that's go to the state. You gave your inheritance to the state.
So if you, I mean, so what happens to your money right now when you die? I mean, like if that's what happens to somebody,
Well, the thing is, see, I'm still putting together on how we actually maneuver this wealth. You know what I'm saying? We figured it out. It's another long process, and I don't really want to speak on that because once again, don't like to put anything out there because people want to try some stuff,
hmm
and because since you haven't put your horse in front of your cart, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do nothing but get yourself in trouble. Then the first thing people will say is, "Oh, Travis is wrong." When no, you just haven't done it correctly. You know what I'm
you're talking
saying?
about something that you're not speaking on right now. You talking
Right,
about
yeah,
something?
right, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think
all right.
what it is, basically what it is for the get your hair. What we gotta understand with our nationality, if we're gonna look at it according to how everything is done in the United States, when you're talking about commerce, what happens is when you have your status corrected, you got everything in line. What happens is now we are the creditors. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's no real money. You know what I'm saying? Fiat currency, everything is just drawn up. And so how it's done is done based on how the banking system works. You're a creditor and a debtor. As being a state citizen, you're the debtor. You know what I'm saying? As now you being the national, you know what I'm saying? You become the creditor. So now as being the creditor, what's the rules of being a creditor? Now you're supposed to go into the bank and your signature is all unique. In fact, your signature is the credit. You know, but the thing is, once again, there is still a process that you still have to go through that. And the thing is, that's where it comes down to you establish your businesses, you know what I'm saying? And you put it in a trust. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, since I'm starting everything out, I'm creating academia, which people would call it a school. Um, I'm starting up our Mufti department, which would be our law department. You know what I'm saying? Mufti and Mushrafs. You know what I'm saying? Mufti, that would be like the sheriff department. Mushrafs, that would be like the police. You know what I'm saying? So it's like different aspects like that that I'm working on when I do it. Put it like this here. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put this out there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? One of my goals, and the thing is because I understand a little bit about certain things. You remember old Franklin Avenue Baptist Church that sit by the bridge on Franklin Avenue?
Yeah.
I'm gonna claim that, G. I'm gonna go claim that.
Okay.
I'm gonna claim that.
Make it
Yeah,
happen, bro. You can do it. Make it
yeah.
happen, man.
But I would like that to be like that'll be our academia. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a spot that I can convert to what people coming in. We can start something with some shelter. The park that's right on the side, turn that into like a co-op garden to where not only we just feeding ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever we got, whatever's left, that's for the community. They're more than welcome to it. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, they still copper tone skin people. Even though still, if it's still got Europeans in there, they if they got dark hair and dark eyes, they've been killed. They still carry the traits of the Moabite woman.
When you in situations as a Moor, when you walking around, when you around people, everybody just kind of assume that you're a Jesus believer, you believe in God. When you in these situations, let me pray for you. These different things. How do you carry yourself in these situations? Do you tell them, hold up, don't pray for me. I ain't with that. I have a different religion, or do you just kind of go along to kind of get along a little bit? How do you handle these situations as a Moor? You know what I mean?
Great questions. You ask great questions. Okay, here's the deal. In the beginning, ego, I would be like, oh, nah, bro, I don't pray. Now, to me, my thing is this here. If that only, as Dr. Sinbei would say, when you know your astrology, you'll never be affected by it. So my thing is, I understand that none of that stuff even affects me. But my thing is this here: me being righteous, by them praying for me, if that's what they want to do, and it brings a calmness to them. If I stand there and let them pray for me just to bring them a calmness, because what if I go against that, and I done just took they already negativity, and I done just made that explode. Who hands that blood is on? That's on my hands. Once again, accountability, responsibility. So hey brother, go ahead. Sister, go ahead. Pray. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Now bow your head and all that stuff. I may not do that. But you know what I'm saying? Standing in reverence. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very humble. I'm very humble in my movements.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
And I only ask because I know, like I said, bro, you got a lot of information, and the way you move, I know the way you guys, the way y'all live, it's astronomy based. Everything is, kind of strategic and stuff like that. When it come to dating, and I know you say you're not married, you dating like how's the dating game for you, brother?
All right. Man. Okay, put it like this. First of all, we cannot go into this situation talking Muslim. We can't talk about Christianity, anything like that. 'Cause that's another fuel in itself. What I do is I'm trying to get to know the character of the person. They know my character. You know what I'm saying? Now, as we get to know each other and it so happens they find out that I don't rock the same way that they do, well, at that point, this is where I got to look at to where, once again, I can't be into my emotions and ego. You know what I'm saying? Because I give everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has, you know what I'm saying? I give everybody options. All women, you get all your options. So if I'm doing something and you're not comfortable with that, no hard feelings. We can go our separate ways. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely do that. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is to meet somebody is to meet someone who has the open mind. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, for me to be where I'm at, I had to have an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Put it like this here, as they would say, because of how I'm living my life now, um, I don't see I'm going to hell. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I look at it like this here, what I'm doing here, and I'm actually saving people, and now I'm getting people back into folds of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? I got people who in the society, you know what I'm saying, done some hellfire things in their life, you know what I'm saying? And now they come back and they can attest like, yo, man, I started learning my strategy, and now I started to see where I was falling short at. And they done made a complete 180 turnaround in their life just based on the astrology. But they grew up understanding the theologies of Christianity, and he felt that it wasn't working for him. How can I live there and judge somebody based on how they choose to regulate their life?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And look, for instance, as long as we've been knowing each other, we had never been in trouble. We ain't never been we don't have no titles of being shady, none of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my thing is to say overall, our moral compass. How we go back to that moral compass thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our moral compass good. So a person got a good moral compass. You know what I'm saying? They're fine. It doesn't matter what your belief system is, don't matter what you know what I'm saying, what religion you follow. And I'm saying you're religious, but what
Yeah.
religion you follow, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're operating in righteousness, you're good. Man, look at all of these preachers that's out here that's
Hmm.
scamming people out their money, touching on their children, getting married women pregnant, you know what I'm saying? The lust,
It's a lot of
you know,
wild stuff happening for real.
exactly.
But you say, look, you say you don't judge nobody. I want to know, do you ever feel like people judge you a lot?
Um,
Have anybody ever told you you're going to hell? You ever feel judged?
of course, of course. My thing is this here, you know what I'm saying? It's not what you call it, it's what you answer to. So my thing is this here, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can say whatever they want to say. You can say whatever you want. I don't have to accept that. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is that I don't have to debate with you either. My thing is easy for me to be like, all right, cool. If you feel that way, possibly, all right, cool. And I can move on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to waste my energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to waste my energy trying to uplift somebody if they constantly trying to tear down. You know what I'm saying?
But
Because
you
that,
somebody
once
actually
again,
told you
called
that
discernment.
before though?
That's discernment. Oh, of course. I get it all the time. In fact, it happened today.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. You got to spill the beans, dog. What happened, bro? Come on, you got a fresh story for us. What
Man,
happened?
man, I hit up the Walmart and somebody had peeped out my tattoo on my arm and shit. Let me see. Let's
What
see.
your tattoos is? You got some work.
Yeah,
Oh,
you might have seen my tattoos. You know,
okay.
it's kind of bright, so you can't. Well,
I see
I
the
got the
crescent.
five some Islam on my arm.
All right.
Uh, and so they was like, "Oh, you a Mason, so you be sacrificing people and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that." So I was just like, I basically like, nah, I don't follow like I don't subscribe to Freemasonry. So I deal with stone masonry. You know what I'm saying? My masonry is from a matriarchal perspective. Oh no, it ain't. There's no such thing, and blah blah blah. So I already understand. I really can't talk to them like that. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I did was I was like, well, I mean, I understand. I told her straight. I was like, I understand what you're saying, but then once again, you can't judge me based off of what you heard or what you see that's in somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So in your religion, would God be cool with you condemning me and you don't even know me? And they just stood there. I was like, now you have a nice day. See what I'm saying?
So this in Walmart?
Huh? Yeah,
This in
Walmart. Yeah, the
it's a
one in
random person walking up to you?
on Bullet. Yeah, it was on Bullet.
So look, it's a random person walked up to you and saw your tattoos?
Yeah, yeah. I had a cut off shirt because I was doing some work today. Dig. You know what I'm saying? So I had a cut off shirt. So they just seen the tattoos. It was a. I'm gonna say she probably was probably by like maybe like I'm gonna say in between 48 to 52.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it could have put it like this here. I could say it, depending on how I would have played it, it could have been like that was just like a come on line. But I think that the way I respond kind of threw it all off. You know what I'm saying? And they was expecting me to lash back out, but I didn't. So they really ain't know how to handle it. So they whole thing now they just being derogatory about everything. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to like slick side insult me. But I didn't feed into it. Another thing I did was I went put back her own medicine back in her face. Well, since you the devout Christian, you know what I'm saying, as a Christian, you think God would be cool with you talking to me like this and you don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? What if you was in here and you know what I'm saying, you needed a dollar or two because you didn't have enough change for the pay. Me, I would simply give it to you and I wouldn't even have you don't owe me nothing, you don't need your phone number, you ain't even really have to tell me your name. My thing is you're being distressed. And my moral compass in order I want to put out good vibrations because I want to receive good vibrations. What I put out, it comes back in. So for me, from just for my own self gratification, I go ahead and here. Look, hey, don't worry about it, man. You don't have to stress out digging in your purse. Look, here you go, no problem. See
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's just how you know what I'm saying. Is I just move a little differently.
And it's crazy, bro, because you could tell you got a good heart, and it's like, regardless to what I mean, what people might try to judge about, what I mean, your lifestyle or how you live your life, it's crazy because all you can do is be good to people and just hope that they could return the same type of respect. You know what I mean? But you can't control nobody else action, stuff like that. It's crazy, bro. But again, that's why I asked the question, because I know living the lifestyle you live as a Moor, you might be a little different than some other people. That's why we having this conversation, because some people don't even know what a Moor is. Like I said earlier, and some people might have a misunderstanding. I think that if you don't believe in what I believe, you're a bad person. You going to hell. You in a cult. All these judgments and stuff like that. So some people have no understanding of nuance. It's just straight up what they was taught. It's all they know. So I wanted to definitely get the conversation going. Ask you some questions, push it a little bit to kind of what I mean, to get to really get to meet some questions that other people might want to ask. What I mean, but yeah, man, for the most part, it's just crazy. What do you think your purpose is? Like, just in general, like, what do you think your purpose is in this world?
According to my astrology, you know what I'm saying, is basically say that I am here to implement spiritual evolution.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure, bro. For real, I'm glad. I thank you for doing this conversation, having this interview, and dropping the knowledge, bro. Like I say, people get to listen, dissect it, do what they will, make a decision on if it's something that they want to do or not. But hey, can't say they never been told, right?
Right, and like I say, right now, this I appreciate you for having me on your show, your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, like I said, I may not be the best speaker in the world, but my thing is I wanted to come to do my thing to whack at least let's draw a line in the sand. You know what I'm saying? So at least people can get an idea that all of this stuff that they hear is not, all of us don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, some of us are actually working at this thing from a character building perspective to make better people. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? So that way we can have a better world. You can't have a better world by just having a better system. You got to have better people. So everything starts with self. So why not teach stuff that will get people back to themselves? You know what I'm saying? So basically, that's why my thing is that before I try to tell anybody that, hey, you need to be a more, my thing is really, I tell a lot of people, look, being a Moor is not for everybody because this thing is based, it's solely about character building. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, if you're not morally fit to be a Moor, you're not gonna make it. This ain't a good thing for you. Because the thing is, as Moors in the Bible, we the Old Testament, eye for an eye, for tooth for a tooth. You steal something, cutting your hand off. You know what I'm saying? And I will give you a piece of your birth certificate as the receipt. You know what I'm saying? That so that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? There's portions that, like I say, put it like this, so for the time that we have for this event right here,
Yeah.
it's not it's never enough time to where we can really talk about it all. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Thing is, my aim is uh that I can spark questions that is conducive to people, not answering questions that's gonna help people get over.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff that people want to do for the beat traffic laws, beat this, that, and that third,
Be child
to
support.
get over. He's just trying to get over. You know what I'm saying? You done went out there and you done ran your car into a light pole and then it fell on somebody's house and now you figure, oh, I'm a Moor, I ain't supposed to pay for it because I this and I ain't this
Oh,
on
they
it. Oh my,
squatting.
oh come on, oh so that right there, we despise that. You know what I'm saying? We despise that. That's not right. Why are you gonna go and inhabit somebody else's house? See, once again, no accountability, no responsibility. Now, if you want to do something like that, well, go take that old dilapidated house that's got all them weeds growing up around and stuff where the crackheads, you know what I'm saying, the people doing drug, the trap house, go and tighten that up. Build up on that. Build up the sweat equity on that. And while you're doing it, go to the court and put a claim on it and say, "Hey, look, I'm here to fix that up. Um, I'm, I'm putting my sweat. I'm putting a lien on my sweat equity to counter against them taxes." You know what I'm saying? Can't tell you how much your energy costs. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you can set your own rate on that in the right capacity.
Man, bro, I appreciate your time, bro, for real. Maybe at some point in the future, we got to do this again. You already know. You
I
know.
would love, you know what I'm saying? But we can always get deeper into it. My thing is to see if hopefully we can always get into it so that way we can bring more understanding to this shit. You know what I'm saying? My thing is people who got questions, put your questions in there.
In the
I don't mind
comments.
answering them. I don't mind answering them. And my brother here tell you, this is what I do. I'm always, in fact, I study this stuff to practice this stuff so that I'm able to answer the questions, you know what I'm saying, better for even, you know what I'm saying? In the military, we used to say break it down potato style. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Hey, for everybody watching, please hit the like button, subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. Again, subscribe. Leave a comment. Until next time, thanks again, my brother.
All right, my brother.
We
I
gotta
appreciate
stay going.
peace and love. Peace and love. I enjoyed my time here. You know what I'm saying? And until next time, travel light.
Peace.